The finals just got some major driver updates and some further big progress towards the game's release. We also got to go over the TGA schedule as well as where you can watch and the live stream times. Reddit also has a yearly recap and it also includes the finals and a whole bunch more. What's up, world? Should be back in the video for checking out all things the final. Okay, so let's just jump right into the news. All the stuff with the driver updates and everything going on there. Now, we had a ton of stuff come out with both AMD and NVIDIA drivers leading up to everything that's happened. Now, this all went down yesterday, about a few hours after I posted my recent video, but we had a ton of NVIDIA and AMD stuff that came out, went away. There was stuff that was hidden. And so first up, it actually looks like AMD was out the gate first with this one. So AMD did drop their new drivers, which is version 23.12.1. And obviously this is the new Adrenaline software, which, yeah, coincides with the GPU drivers. Now, originally with AMD's patch notes that got released, there actually was mention of the finals specifically. Now, a Reddit user did point out that this was under the new feature highlights tab, which featured both new game support, and that included the finals under that category, along with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And why that's so significant is because Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has the December 7th release date, which is obviously potentially going to coincide with the finals. Maybe it drops a day later or a few days after that. However, seeing that both games are listed under the new game support, we can only incline that these games are going to be coming out within the next few weeks. And typically these are within about 2 weeks period with a lot of drivers, whether it's NVIDIA or AMD. And yeah, specifically Avatar's Pandora is coming out tomorrow. Sometimes they do range a little bit closer. And then obviously the finals being right next to that does give it a significant tell point on when this thing is going to potentially release. Which is great to know that we are on track with everything with the game's progress, with both the ESRB rating from yesterday, as well as 2 of the 3 GPU manufacturers as of now, because Intel now makes GPUs, releasing their drivers with the final support. But that does lead into the NVIDIA stuff with the NVIDIA drivers. Now again, NVIDIA did drop their driver update, which is version 546.29. Now, as far as I can tell, there's actually 2 mentions of this in the actual NVIDIA driver updates. Now, someone did point out here that it's also in the hidden part of the control panel of the NVIDIA driver, which if you're used to NVIDIA Profile Inspector, you'd know there's several ways to import certain profiles for certain games. Sometimes NVIDIA doesn't include certain things or even bugs out the profile inspectors and changes them completely. And some people will share them back and forth and get those profiles correct and share the actual correct one to use with that control panel. However, of course, specifically with the finals, we do actually have this hidden under the profile inspector portion. However, it is also mentioned on the patch notes, which are located on the NVIDIA subreddit for the recent driver update. And if you look under here, under the resizable bar rebar support section, the finals is actually listed under this section to get the newly improved rebar support. So if you do have a 3000 series or newer graphics card, you can take advantage of the rebar support for this upcoming game. Again, it's listed under the official patch notes and even under the posting itself. So with both manufacturers coming out and putting out the driver updates, we can only assume that, yeah, the game is coming out very soon. We'll have to wait and see about Intel. Hopefully they do get those driver and support updates for the finals coming out here soon. They do seem to be a little bit more delayed than the other 2 manufacturers. However, they are pretty quick on getting that support drivers out, and they have done fairly well recently with driver support. However, this might be closer to launch, and if anything, it might even be the day of launch. If there's any updates to the actual Intel situation with the updates there or anything of the driver, I will be sure to either include that in a future video with the updates on that or in a pinned comment down below. And just to further confirm about the driver situation, about the AMD stuff, because they had the finals listed there and then they removed it out of the patch notes. However, here we do have an article by NeoWin, who even goes over that the AMD 23.12.1 driver has support for the finals avatar and a bunch of new features. Now again, this is just another article, but this does signify to us to say, hey, it wasn't just a random Redditor that found this. This was also found by an official article as well, to see that the finals did get support in the recent AMD driver. Now, as far as the Game Awards goes, I'll go over some of the times. There isn't really too much of a scheduling for the Game Awards itself. However, it does seem that they're going to go over a ton of awards at this showcase, so there is a lot to go over with that. And seemingly there's going to be some stuff mixed in there, so you might not only see gameplay or things of that nature or even upcoming releases at this Game Awards event. Now, as far as timing goes, I'll have a bunch of common locations here like Los Angeles, New York, Brazil, London, etc. You get the gist. But overall, we do have for PST that will be at 4:30 p.m. For Eastern time, that's going to be at 7:30 p.m. And then, of course, Central time will be at 6:30 p.m. Of course, the other times are listed out here, so if you know your locale time, you can kind of convert it, or use the times listed on the thing here. And again, as far as I can tell, there is no actual schedule with the Game Awards, at least from all that I can tell on the actual nominee screen here. And yeah, these don't even look like they're going to be in order, as Game Award is the first option here at the top, and then Esports Event last. I'm not sure if they would even showcase that first or even last on both of those categories. Obviously, especially with Game of the Year, it's never going to be one of the first things, but Esports, I don't think that's going to be one of the first things either. So yeah, I don't think this list is in order at all, but this is definitely going to be how it's going to go, kind of based on what the schedule is for it. I'll try to also link all the ways that you can view the Game Awards from either Twitch, YouTube, or if there's any other sources, I'll be sure to try to include that or update it when it gets updated. I will add to note with the YouTube and Twitch situation, if you are wanting to watch on either platform or if you want to know which one's better there. And so obviously there with the chat section, obviously Twitch is kind of better in that category. So I'll typically have a Twitch chat up, but if you do want to see things faster, and it's not by a much, but also better quality and also better bit rate, YouTube does actually have an overall higher bit rate, and for some reason you can actually watch it faster than Twitch. So if you are watching it live with friends or whatever, it typically is a bit slower on Twitch side than it is with YouTube. That could be down to compression and a few other technical things there and limitations with that stuff. However, I just thought I would clarify on that because that's usually how it goes. However, it might be a bit different now. We'll just have to wait. Now, a cool thing is with the end of the year coming up and the finals kind of being here at the end of the year, we actually do have a Reddit recap, and the finals was included in that Reddit recap, or at least the finals subreddit was able to be Reddit recapped for the entire year. It will be interesting to see how these statistics change once, especially this game goes entirely mainstream. Typically, once a game goes mainstream, these numbers basically 10x and just kind of blow up from there. Especially this first one, it says 306,000 people this year visited the finals. I feel like this number is going to absolutely skyrocket when the game does launch. There's a bunch of other cool things here, like the top 3 posts, they have the top 3 comments here. And from the comments, it looks like a lot of the stuff was revolved around controller versus PC stuff, and the aim assist being there with that. The biggest 3 countries were the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. And there was over 64,000 posts with only 7 moderators. So those guys definitely held it down, especially with all those posts kind of coming in and out. It's fairly cool to see all this recap stuff going on, especially with the game kind of just coming out in beta access, going quite popular, but not actually seeing mostly mainstream just yet. Again, these numbers are going to be super interesting to look at after the game actually releases, especially if it does it during the Game Awards or even announces the release date during the Game Awards. These numbers are going to absolutely skyrocket, at least in my opinion. Typically that happens right after a launch. It's just kind of numbers are kind of go chaotic and everything kind of goes into chaos. So definitely get ready for that there because it's going to happen sometime soon. Overall, that should about cover for everything today. If you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.